Welcome to Leadership Unscripted, where I talk to one of 300 randomly generated topics by AI, spin the wheel, see what it lands on. I haven't seen these topics before, and so the team thought it'd be funny for me to really be put in the hot seat. So here we go, let's spin the wheel. Should be interesting. Explain why leadership requires reflection. All right, this is a great topic. Where do I start? We always talk about you can't lead others until you can lead yourself. And so I think individual leadership reflection, hang on, sorry about that, start the countdown. So individual leadership reflection is super critical. It's interesting, I was asked to do a keynote many years ago now over in New Zealand, and they said, we know you know a lot about leadership, but we just want the one thing that you think's the most important. And as I said, this was a long time ago now, but it actually forced me to think really hard, because leadership is so complicated, so complex. Even in the research for my book, there was 200 plus definitions, and I stopped looking around what leadership is. So if we can't even define it, then it's really hard to understand what it is and what it looks like in reality. So the one thing I talked about was emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence has been around for a long time now, as we know, popularized by different people in the 80s and 90s, even though the research goes back to the 50s from Salvoy and other researchers. Dan Goldman really popularized it. And so emotional intelligence and everything that comes with that in terms of self-awareness, empathy, social skills, those kinds of things particularly are the number one skill. And if we don't actually build in reflection to our leadership life and our organisational life and our life for that matter generally, then how the heck would we ever improve? And so getting feedback and feed forward is part of that reflection process, journaling, thinking about what I could do better each time as well. I really like some of the researchers who talk about, every single time they do something, they ask, what could I have done better? Adam Grant role models this beautifully. He even did it. I went to the convention centre here in Melbourne last year, it was maybe the year before, watched Adam Grant, and true to his word, I don't know, a few thousand people in the auditorium, he said, what could I have done better? He just gave a keynote speech. We just paid money to go and see the guy, and he was asking for feedback from the audience. That's amazing. And so that ability to reflect and improve and make that a virtuous cycle where we're constantly just those 1%ers, we're improving each time, getting feedback, 1%ers getting feedback, etc. And trying things as well. I think the notion of leadership practice is about experimentation, and often we're kind of seduced to know the answers and just be the kind of knowers rather than the learners. And so for me, to use the Brené Brown term, be a learner, not a knower. And I think self-reflection's critical in that regard. So critically important, and being able to reflect at different times and never become so arrogant or self-assured or overconfident that we can't improve in some areas. So it's an old cliche, but leadership, as is life, is a lifelong journey. So my stopwatch, my watch is playing funny. I think it's just gone to 0. So that's all I want to say about reflection. Hopefully that's been helpful, a bit of fun, a bit of learning, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks.